As long as humans have invented fantasy stories, we have transported ourselves to those worlds. We've imagined ourselves sitting at a Hogwarts buffet, waiting for the Sorting Hat to put us in our favorite house, traveling to Narnia to meet Aslan, or traversing Middle-earth to destroy an evil ring. And any die-hard Thronies have pictured themselves conquering Westeros to take their rightful place on the Iron Throne. Well, today, we're not going to Westeros. Instead, it's coming to us. Welcome back to an alternate world where George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones is not a world of fiction, but our reality. So what exactly are we talking about? Well, let me fill you in. For those who don't know, Game of Thrones is a fantasy series created by George R.R. Martin, originally published as a series of novels titled A Song of Ice and Fire. The first book, A Game of Thrones, was published back in 1996. The story is set in the fictional continents of Westeros and Essos and revolves around the power struggles among noble families to claim the Iron Throne of Westeros. It's known for its complex characters, intricate political plots, unexpected twists, and painful character deaths, which we won't dive into because of spoilers. The TV show, produced by HBO and titled Game of Thrones, premiered in 2011 and ran for 8 seasons until 2019. Both the books and the TV series have achieved global success, attracting a diverse audience. The TV show in particular became a cultural phenomenon, known for its high production values, compelling storytelling, and controversial ending. It garnered massive viewership, critical acclaim, and numerous awards. And its popularity has sparked a significant fan following, numerous spin-offs such as House of the Dragon, merchandise, and a lasting impact on popular culture. While most of it is grounded in reality, focusing on human narratives, the story does sometimes veer into the world of make-believe, incorporating fantastical abilities and creatures. In fact, did you know that George R.R. Martin had to add dragons to get it published as a fantasy? And that's what we'll focus on today. Imagining dragons and White Walkers in Nebraska sounds much more interesting than imagining these characters in Nebraska's endless cornfields. In this world, Joffrey Baratheon probably would have been prescribed ADHD meds and become an unlikable finance bro, like a real-life Patrick Bateman. End of story. But dragons! Dragons are awesome! Giant fire-breathing flying lizards that bond with humans who become their riders? Yes, please! Move out of the way, run-down Honda Civic with the check engine light perpetually on. I'm taking a dragon to work. Obviously, if dragons had been around in the past, they would have been top of the food chain on Earth. Our early human ancestors would have stood no chance against them and may have never been able to become the dominant force in the world. Although, the discovery of fire would have happened a lot quicker. But dragons entering the picture in 2024 is a whole different story. Our advanced societies and technologies would be able to control them. They would function more as pets or luxury commodities rather than a useful tool. Just imagine dragons slowly being bred into small, weak yappers, similar to what humans did over time. Don't forget, Chihuahuas, Pugs, and Frenchies are descendants of great hunters and fighters. While in Game of Thrones, dragons are X-factors in the field of war, I don't think the US military would be that intimidated if another nation rocked up to battle with one. We have fighter jets! We took out Godzilla and King Kong, we can take out a dragon? Yes, I am aware that they are fictional. The F-35C can reach speeds of Mach 1.6, about 1,200 miles per hour, even with a full internal weapons load. And what exactly is that weapon load? The F-35C can carry more than 5,000 pounds of internal weapons, or more than 18,000 pounds of combined internal and external weapons. With this kind of firepower to subdue them, it seems more likely that dragons would be used more as a status symbol than any key to power and control. Just like Mike Tyson has his pet tiger in The Hangover, the social elite may keep dragons purely for their own amusement. Another thing we may see is new markets emerging around dragon goods, similar to problematic poaching trades we've already seen for items such as ivory, beaver pelts, or rhino horns. People may pay top dollar for dragon teeth, scales, or horns. We saw this hinted at in Game of Thrones through the harvesting and hatching of dragon eggs. We may see dragon conservation areas pop up. I'm sure farmers would not appreciate a dragon barbecuing their cattle. I don't think a scarecrow would do the trick. Now, White Walkers are the overarching bad guys of the show. All the squabbles of the royal family south of them kind of felt irrelevant, as whoever ascended to power would only be there until these freaky, all-powerful ice zombies showed up and wiped them all out. If White Walkers were around, it would be a bad day to be Alaskan, as let's face it, you'd probably be the first to go. Yet, us on Earth have one critical defense mechanism that they didn't have in Westeros: global warming. Yes, that's right. What could be our greatest threat could also be our greatest weapon. With the power of greenhouse gases, overconsumption of fossil fuels, and massive waste generation, we are melting our polar ice caps and warming the globe. Hard to assemble your White Walker army when we've decimated the Arctic. Take that, Night King! So, the next time you find yourself stuck in horrible traffic idling your car, don't get too frustrated. Remember, you're doing your part to protect us from any White Walker invasion. In your own way, you are a member of the Night's Watch. As you leave your air conditioning on all day, just remind yourself, night gathers, and now my watch begins. It shall not end until my death. I shall take no wife, hold no lands, father no children. I shall wear no crowns and win no glory. Another powerful being in Westeros is the Three-Eyed Raven. In Game of Thrones, a green seer is someone who possesses green sight, the ability to see future, past, and current but distant events within dreams. The Three-Eyed Raven is the most powerful of them all, merging with young Bran Stark in the books and show. It would be a tremendous ability if the Three-Eyed Raven came to Earth and paired with someone on our planet. Maybe they would be seen as someone fit to lead, helping us to a new utopian future, learning from the past and avoiding mistakes in the future. Or maybe they already have, and that's why the Simpsons are so good with predictions. Perhaps they would commercialize their abilities, being swayed by our capitalist society, preventing crimes like the precogs and Minority Report, or telling futures for vast fees like fortune tellers do now. Or, one sad and very real possibility is they would be completely ignored. If someone claimed to be the Three-Eyed Raven and said they could see the past, future, and events happening far away, we'd walk away as fast as possible or put in our AirPods to avoid this crazy person. Or maybe people would just claim fake news, totally untrue, in order to delegitimize any claims the Three-Eyed Raven would make. It certainly would not be straightforward for our Green Seer friend. A final and really cool fantasy storyline in Game of Thrones is the Guild of Assassins known as the Faceless Men. The cult of religious assassins worship the many-faced god, and they believe that death is a merciful end to suffering. For a price, they will grant the gift of death to anyone in the world, considering the assassination a sacrament to their god. The Faceless Men possess the ability to physically change their faces, shape-shifting so that they appear as an entirely new person. How would our world change if these folk existed in our society? Well, first off, it's 2024. It would now be the Guild of Faceless People. Get with the times. There are so many possibilities. They could continue on as highly dangerous assassins. They could write tests for people, similar to Mike in the show Suits. You could replace people such as John Travolta and Nick Cage in Face Off, or like Cobra does to the president in G.I. Joe. Imagine a faceless mercenary running the White House or Kremlin. But the real meal ticket would be in the beauty industry. They have such a profitable skill on their hands. If they transition from assassins to plastic surgeons, they could be some of the richest people on Earth. Customers would have to go through the trials and tribulations that Arya Stark went through, but if you've ever seen the recovery from a BBL, you would know that people are willing to go through much more to achieve much less. The global cosmetic surgery market achieved a valuation of $45.5 billion in 2022 and is anticipated to exceed $59.45 billion by 2030. While high-profile assassinations are very lucrative, you know what's infinitely more? Making us all look like Zac Efron and Beyoncé! If the Faceless Men did come to our world, we picture them opening up a cosmetic surgery business and growing richer than kings. It's an interesting thought experiment, trying to see how these mythical Game of Thrones creations would function in our world. Would they take over? Would they fall victim to our materialistic capitalist society? Or maybe they would see how we ended their show and leave in disgust. Hashtag rewrite Season 8. Anyway, how would you picture a world where we're visited by the world of Westeros? Would you rather be a dragon rider or the Three-Eyed Raven? And most importantly, do you speak Dothraki? May want to brush up on it. It may save your life if you come across an angry Khal Drogo. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us which alternate world we should explore next. See you in the next one!